following podcast contains strong language, very inconsistent editing, and an incomplete and entire lack of pants. John Driggs Cheese.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Good evening.
Welcome to the 4 a.m. podcast, everybody. The podcast about movies, snacks, and all things nerdy. I'm your host this evening. My name is Rob. I don't have a fancy name. I never get one. Joining me at the table are these elves and goblins and unicorns and devils and creeps and weirdos.
Oh, you're going to me first?
I just looked around the table. You all decide what you do. It's chaos around here.
The last living Tony.
The darkness of brick.
Fuck you. Fuck you right in your dark asshole. Your dirty, dark asshole, motherfucker, for taking that one from me. That's a long name.
I'm just going to go with Screwball.
Wow. All right.
Just jacking it.
Jacking it.
We
I knew everybody's going to, wants to do darkness.
what?
You all right, Rob?
No, I'm not. Not at all. Because now I have the darkness playing in my head, and I do not want that. Do not want that.
You believe in a
I have
thing
the
called
theme
love?
song playing in my head.
So yeah, we watched Legend this evening. Legend from
Not I Am Legend.
1985.
Five.
Five. Tony, tell us about Legend from 1985.
And that it was rated PG. Is directed by Ridley Scott, believe it or not, who brought us Alien, Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, and Gladiator. Lots of other fun things. Apparently, he really wanted to make a fantasy movie, but he didn't want one just based on a book. He wanted it to be an original screenplay because he
Based
thought
on
that
a
would be
scrap of
easier.
toilet paper.
Yeah. No, but he found a fantasy novelist, and he asked him if he would like to write a screenplay, and the guy was like, "Hey, I got good news. I've wrote like 12 of them already that haven't been made yet, so woo, worked out."
So
I
who
guess.
who was that novelist?
William Horgertsberg?
Or Jerksburg.
I don't know.
Okay.
HJORTSBERJ.
Georgeburg.
Sorry.
Okay.
I've
never heard of him,
I haven't either.
and I worked at Barnes and Noble for 3 years.
Wow.
I shelved a lot of fantasy books. I don't think I ever saw one of his.
But he's somebody to somebody. Apparently, one of the major characters, I'm not sure which, but I'm guessing one of the two elves,
Brown Tom.
possibly, was going to be played by Mickey Rooney, but he looked too big around Tom Cruise.
Brown Tom.
That's why the whole rest of the cast was midgets.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I forgot
and
how short Tom Cruise is.
filming was interrupted twice. First, when the studio burned down, and then secondly, sadly, when Tom Cruise's father passed away.
No.
And I guess there was originally I guess there's some debate over, I think we at least got director's cut, but there was a European version that was like an extra hour long.
No.
Wow.
3 hours?
No, it was like 2.5 hours as opposed to an hour and a half, which is the theatrical cut.
okay.
And we got one that was closer to 2 hours.
Oh.
So I think it was the director's cut.
We chose poorly.
Yes.
I
But,
enjoyed it. I
Tom
never-
Cruise apparently said that he really liked the European cut the most and wouldn't talk about this movie for a very long time. And even now tells people to watch only the director's cut. And his armor, as cool as it is just a bunch of Smash bottle caps.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool still.
that's fine. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome. I just thought that was a fun thing to throw in.
Nice.
All right.
Want to guess how much it cost to make this?
There was a lot of set work. Like a lot of set work.
1985.
I'm gonna say, I feel $18 million in my heart.
35.
20.
I'll go 25. It's Ridley Scott.
I'm gonna give it to Joe. It was 24 point, whatever. But
So close.
I guess how much it made.
Oh. Ooh.
I have no idea how popular this was in theaters because I was only like 7.
It made Tim Curry aroused.
$40 million. And Tim Curry's hard penis.
Let me say 45.
I'm gonna just go with $1.
50.
$1.50.
No, 50 million.
Well done, Joe. It was
Oh, it flopped.
$17 million.
Wow. So it was a flop.
Yeah, it was not very popular at the time.
I am this group's gold-studded pantsless champion.
You sure are.
I mean, yeah.
You got the diaper to prove it.
Speaking of pantsless champions, who's in this film?
Well, you got yourself a Tom Cruise
Not pants.
as Jack. You got a Mia Sara as Lily. And you got Tim Curry as Darkness.
Okay.
Charlie Murphy.
Just gave him some help.
So who
Fuck
here
your
at the
couch.
table has seen this film before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it, but I know I had seen at least parts before. But I
Same.
think I remember this is one of those movies that I would try to watch and fall asleep.
That's fair.
Something like that.
Can't imagine why.
This one was right up there for me with Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal on like the
And Crawl.
Crawl. Yeah, well, I think I probably saw this more than Crawl. Crawl I only saw a couple of times as a kid, but I think that's just because it didn't get as much play for reasons that we all know.
Yeah, see, I am realizing more and more, like, I do just have a shit memory, but like things like Aliens, I love, and I remember all of it. And then you have movies like this, which admittedly I haven't seen in ages, but I remember only parts of it. And I'm now realizing it's because my brain is just like, yeah, you don't need to remember like half that
I think
shit.
this was the first time I've seen it not edited for TV.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, this never made it into my DVD collection. So that was interesting, seeing all the parts that had been cut for time or.
Interesting, yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd only seen parts too.
I know that I've seen this before. Like I'm sure I've even probably watched it with people in this room. potentially
Probably.
before. But I didn't remember shit about this movie other than Tom Cruise, Tim Curry, and a unicorn. That
And no
was-
pants.
No, I didn't even remember the no pants. Like I thought he was wearing like a tunic the whole time in my head, and
Well, he was wearing a tunic,
Well,
just no pants.
yeah, just no
no
pants.
breeches.
Right. So I also thought there was no dialogue in this movie. And I even asked around at work, and the people that had seen it were like, yeah, I don't think there's dialogue. I think there's like a narrator. I was like, I
Okay.
don't think people talk much in this movie. And so obviously, just the dialogue does not stick with people. But there's a ton of it. It's just all-
Mostly
that's all
done by
obnoxious
a
screaming.
child in a diaper.
Yeah, at weird
Being dubbed
moments.
by
I
someone
don't want
else.
to talk about
Rob.
Anthony Hopkins.
Let's be real. I know you're itching to make many pedophile jokes here about Anthony Hopkins.
No,
he
but-
really wants to block that whole thing
I was
out of his
He
brain.
looks like Anthony Hopkins. This kid looks like Anthony Hopkins. And
If
every
you
time
were-
he talks, I think I'm watching a small naked child with an AI Anthony Hopkins face on. And it was making me uncomfortable. I don't want to make pedophile jokes. I will,
Does,
but I don't want to.
does it make it better or worse that his name is Gump?
It does not. It doesn't really impact it one way or the other, to be honest with you.
He's in a forest.
He is in a forest.
Does not help that character. That character needed all the help he could get.
It's not helping me right now.
No.
I don't know. I think the kid acted the shit out of that
Yeah.
character. Like I don't know if it was somebody else's voice dubbed in, after the fact delivering the lines, but the expressions and you know.
I was afraid of that child.
Yeah, I did not. Like I'm having so much food now because I have to try and stay up all night because I don't want to fall asleep.
David Bennett.
David Bennett. It's got 3 N's.
Ben End.
Bennett.
Ben Trist.
Sure.
It's unnatural, like his face. Jesus.
It was creepy though. He did a great job being like kind of ageless in his facial expressions.
He was
didn't
a
look
child.
right, but he didn't look like a child in the face.
Yeah, because he looked like Anthony Hopkins.
It wasn't like the way a child actor usually.
Right,
yeah.
Like this wasn't no Macaulay Culkin.
No,
No,
No.
he looked like
He was delivering the work well.
really well. Yeah. Go kid.
So, Rob, did you appreciate that the credits warn you ahead of time that there will be a Screwball and a Brown Tom?
Yes, we were expecting Brown Tom.
I was looking. I was trying to figure out which one of the characters was Brown Tom.
All right, so
And much to my dismay, it was not who I wanted it to be.
Legend opens on a bear in the woods, and it's immediately apparent this movie is fucking beautiful.
Yes.
Without whatever faults you're going to poke at it, this movie looks amazing. There's glitter everywhere. There's always
Dude, it looks
some
like
kind of particulate in the air. Like
Yeah, this
you
is an
should be wearing a
asthmatic's
mask.
nightmare.
Yeah, it looks like a nasal nightmare.
Yeah. Like this is not a world where humans are really meant to go, I guess.
Alice
'cause-
in Danderland.
Yeah. Everyone's covered in glitter. Yeah, there's always something being thrown in the air. So yeah, the credits warn you about Screwball and Brown Tom. They're the only characters mentioned by name, and you're like, "Hey, Billy Barty's here."
Yeah,
And then I was like, "Oh, that was Gwildor."
Yep.
Originally, it was Brown Tom and another character, but they couldn't get
yeah.
the rights for Huck Finn.
Or if you prefer, the cameraman from UHF.
True, the cameraman to
Wow.
UHF. All right, and then
Either everybody else is ignoring that.
oh yeah, no, shields up.
Yeah, pass Rob the Doritos too. Have some Doritos with that blue milk.
So
Yeah, which also just quickly, I brushed past it before, but apparently there was like a really nice old style house that had a lovely yard with a beautiful garden and everything and like some forest area where they filmed a lot of this. And then at one point it all burned down. So they had to recreate a lot of it on like, I think was on sound stages or whatever.
Yeah, they built an entire
but-
forest on a
Yeah.
soundstage.
Yeah, but they did originally have one until there was a fire.
Burned down from all the fluff and shit they were like, dropping everywhere.
and
I have no idea.
I don't mean to harp on it, but you could tell they're not outside because of the industrial fan amount of wind blowing shit
Yes.
through the air.
Yeah.
So anyway, a goblin appears walking through the woods, and he looks at this giant tree, and you're like, "What is it, like Yggdrasil's here?" But the giant tree is where the Lord of Darkness hangs out, and you don't see him now. You just see like the back of a chair that's all slimy and gross, and he's
Actually
like,
has slime dripping down it.
"Yeah."
Good touch.
This is naughty chair.
It's like if Dr. Claw was designed by H.R. Geiger.
So,
Be honest, it's like
yeah.
most of our chairs right now.
Dr. Claw here is like, I want the sun to set forever. I hate the sun. Fuck it. Go destroy these 2 beacons of goodness. And the guy's like, all right, well the goblin's like, what do they look like? And he just takes like something off the table and plops it on his forehead and like this.
It was a knife, and I honestly thought he stabbed
I
him in
thought
the
he
head.
stabbed him in the
I thought you
skull.
did too.
If he just like opened up his brain case and like put the memories in there, like this is what you're looking for.
What doves cry?
So, yeah, he sends the goblin whose name is Nix or Blix.
Blix,
Blix. I wrote it in my note as Nix. So I will probably mistakenly call him that.
Well,
But
it's
sends him
probably
on his way.
Because subconsciously you're thinking of Nyx, which is one of the. It's a goddess of darkness.
Sure, that's what it is, Joe.
Yeah,
right?
that's what we all think. Yeah, consciously.
There's a lot of fucking
There's
shit floating
stuff
around in
named
Joe's
Nyx.
brain.
It's all slamming off
rhymes
the
with
walls
dicks.
and
Yeah, he was
whatnot.
thinking about dicks.
Yeah. So
See, I just figured he was thinking Nick's Scoops, Haagen-Dazs.
yeah, fuck the Knicks.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this guy must be pretty hog-tied.
So we cut.
Can he go as deep as his voice is?
So we cut abruptly from there to like the prettiest princess. She's just frolicking in a field, just like la 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 la, and she's being stalked by the goblins. And like you just see her and you're like, that's a princess.
Yeah.
Poof.
I'm pretty happy they went with the brunette princess instead of the blonde princess.
But she's you're like, okay, you know, what's princess doing? Just the stereotypical la la la's and picking flowers and whatnot. No, the first thing she does, she gets to this person's house, rips this woman's clothesline down. She's like, oh, these fairies, oh. Then like goes in the room, steals some pastries, and like there's a clock there that's got like death chasing this woman whenever the hour strikes, and strikes 10, and like she has this weird like vision into the future where snow's falling in the house. And you're just like, what the hell's happening, movie? Like this is going off the rails
Syria is
fast.
coming.
She was having
Yeah.
a premonition.
And then the woman who she just knocked her clothesline down is she comes in and is like, oh, Princess Lily. And she's like, oh, I don't have time to visit today. What the fuck are you doing here then?
Why are you in my house?
You're a wonderful princess, but you're telling me you just stopped by to steal my food?
Yeah, she's like, you
Really?
gotta go find a man. You know, you gotta go out and find love. Shouldn't be here with us
Find a
peasants.
proper prince.
Proper prince.
Also, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, she's like, don't worry, because the second stop on my trip today is to summon a wild Tom Cruise. He flips out of nowhere, pantsless, wearing like
Feral Cruise as a
yeah, wearing a blown out tunic, and I'm sure the most tattered of skivvies.
Yeah, it's more loin than cloth.
More loin than cloth. Yeah.
Oh.
And he's eating cookies. He's talking about animals. She's like, teach me how to bunny. And he's like, I don't got time to teach you how to bunny because I'm gonna blindfold you and lead you around and,
Into the woods.
to like I'm just gonna take you further into the woods, get you fucking lost.
I'm gonna show you Venu, our deity.
I can't teach you to bunny. I'm going to teach you how to regret.
So takes this blindfolded girl over to a stream and takes the blindfold off, and I'm like, is this a stream? Like, what the fuck? But the movie's like, check this out. We fucking super glued these floppy ass horns onto these unicorns. And
Could you imagine the horse handler being like, I hope they don't poke each other's eyes out?
yeah,
It is not super glue.
I mean, it may just be an elastic holding this on because
Yeah, that looks more.
this is like a 75% erect horn. It's flopping all around as they go.
It was unfortunate how floppy the horns were, but yeah,
I mean,
for safety reasons
yeah.
for the animals.
I'm glad that they didn't just fucking graft it on there or whatever.
Look,
would-
if you drill a small hole into the skull, you can put a screw, like a double-sided
Yeah,
bolt.
no, there was a farmer in Russia that actually did that.
Yeah. They did it to Steven Seagal, I think. he's got a majestic horn now.
But
He
anyway,
runs through the streets of Moscow impaling people.
He
when
does
the
not
horse
run-
is-
he does
He
not
doesn't
run
run. No,
anywhere.
no.
He has a,
Sorry,
he has
he's-
a mark cart.
He staggers about, impaling people.
they're two beautiful white horses, and when they're not throwing their heads around too hard, the horns do look pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, they're majestic as hell. And you're like, fuck yeah, unicorns. I'm down. You know, this was before this shit got cliche. Let's see what they're up to. Oh,
A whole lot of nothing.
yep.
Scampering.
making whale noises.
Yeah, sound like whales.
Occasionally
Jack's
smashing
like,
into each other.
these unicorns, they don't have dark thoughts. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, those goblins are coming. They better think about defending themselves.
Nope.
They're gonna get some dark thoughts.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn about darkness pretty quick.
So Lily's like, I gotta go say hi. Jack's like, it's forbidden, but I'm not gonna stop you, because
Because he loves her.
yeah, or he's gonna see her get impaled by a unicorn. Either way, it's a good day for Jack.
Then he'll
Penetrated
impale her
one way or the
afterwards.
other.
Yeah.
I couldn't stab you, they will.
Oh, that's the other thing. She tries to kiss Jack a couple times, and he's like, kind of like, meh. That's not his thing.
Your Deaton levels are not high enough.
Yeah. So Lily starts singing to the unicorn, and it pisses the unicorn off until it doesn't. And then the unicorn's
everybody
like,
off.
oh, all right, you're just going to do that. It's not going to hurt anybody. Goblin's like, surprise, motherfucker. I got a blow dart, got some poison in my vial of
frog.
pure darkness. And the unicorn's like, fuck, runs off. So does Jack, too. So she's just running around kind of on her own. What should we call it? But then Jack says Lily's actions were forgiven, but I don't know what's happened that earned that. Whatever. She
Well, Jack's actions were forgiven because later he ends up guessing the riddle correctly from.
well, yeah, we're not at that point
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
though.
no, he was pissed at her for doing what she did, but then
Yeah.
she uses her womanly wiles
Singing
on him
voice.
and,
Yeah.
makes him forgive her.
She gives him another kiss. Goblins are like chasing down the unicorns, and I gotta say the goblins look pretty cool too. You got like a pig man, you got like Balzac, the Jaws of Death, riding behind him, and then the like Blix, the head goblin here. He's got the cool like crooked nose and all that. Like,
Big pointy ears.
yeah, they're legit makeup jobs.
I was hoping Pigman was Brown Tom, personally.
I called it, and I was wrong.
So Lily, out of nowhere, she's like, all right, I'm going to give a quest to the man I have to marry. And here's where the movie's like editing problems really like rear their ugly head. She throws a ring over a cliff into just a pond. And Jack's like, well, I got to get that if I'm going to marry you. So I'm going to jump off the cliff into the pond. And she's like, no. Then underwater, it's like,
I was just joking.
like a fucking killer whale's under there. And then, like, you did that. Like, what are you expecting? And, like, meanwhile, the unicorn's dying at the same time, but it's not 100% clear what's happening here. And, like, she's crying. There's, like, the unicorn's in a cherry blossom field getting bombarded by an impossible amount of cherry blossoms being thrown into a fan.
Well, it's also important to note, like you said, she threw her ring into a pond, and he jumped from what looked like no higher than most high dives.
Yeah.
But then suddenly that pond became like the Marianas Trench. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on.
The top of the pond froze because, winter set in, I guess.
Yeah.
No one cares about cold. And the goblins take their saber out and cut the the unicorn's horn off. And it's a blizzard. And Lily runs back to the peasant house. It's like, guess what? I'm not done fucking your day up. They're like, guess what? We froze to death.
We're frozen solid.
Yeah, just,
Including the baby.
yeah. We are the only ones, apparently, that care about cold. And it killed us quick. So now the goblins come into the peasant's house, and Lily hides upstairs. And we find out that goblin horns are magic wands, or not goblin horns, unicorn horns are magic wands, and Blix is like casting spells with it, and
He becomes Tim the Enchanter and
Yeah.
sets everything ablaze.
Blix is really caught up on the I can make fire with this, not so much any other parts.
It's funny how much Agents of Darkness are really excited about burning things.
And they're like, oh, well, it's all because of that lady that led us to the unicorn. All we had to do was follow her. And Lily was like, fuck.
It's all my fault.
I got to make this right. Meanwhile, Jack appears to have frozen to death, but he gets visited by
Three
the
ghosts.
Gump. And you're just like, oh no.
That is how he introduces himself, is the Gump.
You got this little frolicking child with an Anthony Hopkins face, elf ears, a leafy diaper,
Just a naked baby.
and pointed shoes. And
a
you
fiddle.
And a fiddle. You're just like, no, please don't.
It's basically what Rob did
Yeah.
when he saw that.
Yeah, it's like,
Like, no.
I'm not going to talk about it. You guys have to
be
talk
like,
about it.
give the quest and get the fuck out of here. And he's like, nope, I'm in it for the duration.
I'm part of the party.
Coming along.
You got me till the very end. I was like, fuck.
I'm fourth build, motherfucker.
Yeah. And then to top all this off, there's there's all kinds of cackling small people in there. Billy Barty just walks in like, ha, ha, ha. They're like, Brown Tom, give us some wine. Brown Tom, I thought his head exploded. His hat just flies off. He's on the screen for like half a second, and his hat's like, woo, and he's wearing a bottle on his head.
It's his elderberry
His
wine.
elderberry wine hat. You're just like, what's happening?
Shot
I
glasses
don't
on
want it.
fingertips.
I'm just sort of covering my ears and closing my eyes and just
fucking
going, no.
fantastic.
Jack's got to get punished because he had a lady touch the unicorn. Gump he's so full of himself. He talks about how he knows everything because, how does a salmon know how to get back to its ancestral breeding grounds? How does something else know how to do something else? And then he's like, so tell me what you did. And Jack bought it. He's like, oh, I guess since he knows everything, I might as well tell him. And Gump's like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? I was like, I thought you knew everything, lying asshole. There's just a riddle that's Jack can get. Apparently, you can get out of anything in Fairyland if you can pass a riddle.
It was like,
The
I'm
justice
either
system has some significant
I'm gonna
loopholes.
execute you unless you can answer this riddle for
Yeah.
me.
Sure.
That's.
Makes total sense.
I mean, their court system's efficient, but it's not necessarily effective. Your immunity to crimes is based entirely on your riddle skills. So the riddle is basically like bluebell flowers, and Gump freaks the fuck out. He's on the ground having a tantrum, like, all the other little people are running around, and you're like, this is madness.
Yes.
Fucking awesome.
And then, all right, then Gump's like, I know, it's time to get drunk. Get the elderberry wine, right? Yeah. Get that out. That's when Brown Tom's hat flies off. And Billy Barty shows up with 4 little like thimble-sized glasses, and they drink, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we probably should go save the world now. You got to find this other unicorn."
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and you're like, "Okay, just let Jack go and do that." And I'm like, "All right, he's got to bring Billy Barty along," and it was like. Brown Tom's coming. All right, well, there's usually 2 of the cutesy things that follow him or whatever. And then I'm like, just don't bring the fucking kid. Kid's like, nope,
Yep.
No, I'm
here
front and
I
center.
come.
Because, hope you are used to these creamy thighs because they're not going anywhere.
Nope.
But yeah, also, with that is, we're the team now. We're going to go stop this because it's a world-ending problem.
Does his creamy thighs make you uncomfortable?
All the rest of you guys,
They do.
for whatever reason, just fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just showed up and then just disappeared.
But not in like a Jared from Subway kind of way. But like a genuinely, just I'm upset.
There's also just like a flying waypoint marker going with them, and that's Una. You're like, all right, sure, that is.
Snabby.
Yeah, more.
Listen.
More happens with that than I thought was going to.
Long.
It's like trying to swat her. All right, so now we cut back to Lily. She's running through the woods somewhere. And we're back to Jack
In a blizzard.
In a blizzard. And we're back to Jack and company. And they found the dead unicorn, and the surviving unicorn shows up, and Jack can talk to animals, so he just has a conversation with the unicorn and comes back.
Sure,
and,
he did.
Yeah,
It's more like the unicorn just screamed fuck words at him.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and then he's just like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything bad by it." And the unicorn's like, "My mate is fucking dead."
I would have liked at one point during this, the horse talking to him, if he was just like, "I thought you guys weren't capable of having bad thoughts."
See what happens when you fuck with the natural order.
I was just liking the idea of like, yeah, I talked to him. He said me and him are cool now. And I'm like, meanwhile, it's like hissing at him and nipping at him and shit. Yeah, no, he said he's totally fine with it. Oh,
So they're like,
just kicked me.
all right, we got to go find a champion, and we got to get the unicorn horn back, and whatever. And so
I
Gump's
believe
like,
at this point they call it an alicorn, which I had looked up as a cross between a unicorn and a pegasus.
Put it.
I
this
don't
wasn't
think they
no
flew.
wingaling motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what?
Rob's like falling asleep.
There's unicorns, horses with horns,
Yeah.
Pegasus, horses with wings, and apparently alicorns, horses with the horns and wings. Except this one doesn't have wings.
Right, so it's just a unicorn.
Yeah.
He's just pointing out what they call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one knows why.
I think they just
Those
wanted to have a
knows.
word that was different from unicorn.
Oh.
You
To
know
call
what,
the horn.
Ridley Scott?
Or the guy who wrote it originally had it as a alicorn, and they were like, we figured out how to do the horn, but the wings.
Oh, come on. They did it for Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, but they didn't.
They had a
It's
fairy.
different.
and
They
then
did
she
Goobo
had-
for Clash of the Titans
Yeah,
too.
there's big differences there. Anyway,
So, what you call it? So now Jack gets nominated to become this champion to go get the unicorn horn back, and they decide to leave Brown Tom here to guard the last remaining unicorn.
Just one elf.
The mayor.
Yep. And we cut back to Blix camping with Pigman and Balzac, and they're like, he's got the wand, and he's like, I could make fire, and I could do something else, and the one that I'm calling Balzac that has like this big helmet covering all of them, and you can't see anything else going on, is like, hey, remember we have to give that to the master, and don't get too attached to it. And Blix is like, hey, your ass is on fire. So then this helmety clad goblin jumps into a cauldron, and just this huge blast of steam comes shooting out of it. And whatchamacallit?
A disproportionately huge
Very,
amount of
very
steam.
disproportionate. Yeah.
Well, he's got hellfire
know.
on his ass.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost like this is done for comedic effect, which it fails at miserably.
So, now it cuts back to Jack, who is literally just following Una the Waypoint, into a treasure trove to find like the suit of armor. And I'm like, good pants. It's like, nope. But before that happens,
That would restrict his movement.
Una reveals a couple secrets to Jack. One, she could turn into a mostly person with like, super 80s blown out hair and,
And super 80s
winglings.
glitter.
Yeah. Two, she's down to fuck. Like real bad. Like no one else here. I could fulfill your every desire. And Jack's like, I'm gonna touch a sword. And
She's like, I want to touch a sword.
oh boy.
and now back at the goblin camp, Lily kind of shows up. She's watching from afar as Blix is still talking all the good shit, and they're like, "Look, it's the Big D."
It's Big D.
And darkness, motherfucker. He's off in the distance. He's got the glowing green eyes. He's got his shadowy cloak. He's looking pretty spooky. And something happens that causes Blix to drop the wand. So
darkness is like
yeah.
hits him with a lightning bolt.
So yeah,
Lightning
Well,
bolt.
no,
so the helmet guy picks it up.
No,
then-
yeah. First, Blix just throws it because she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, I got
No,
caught."
no, he was still holding on to it, and darkness made a motion with his hand.
No, that's
and
what he does to
electricity-
Helmet Guy.
Yeah, I thought he
does
did
to
it to
the
helmet.
guy.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
Blix did just throw it.
Yeah, Blix
yeah,
is just
yeah.
like,
I
"Oh
was
shit,
like-
the cops!"
It's not me.
Yeah, it's the fuzz.
Yeah, because she was running around. He whatever was running around
I
like
believe
maybe
the character's supposed to be male, even though it's a female.
whatever.
in
But
there.
it's running around, shooting the fire and everything. Like maybe Darkness doesn't need to be in control until Darkness shows up, and she's just like, "Bah!"
Yeah,
Or he.
Blix is just talking to shit. He's
Yeah.
not. There's no backbone once the big D shows up.
Exactly. But Helmet Guy.
balls
Yeah,
out.
Lord Helmet. He's like, I'm in charge now. I got the unicorn horn.
Your reign is over.
Darkness is like, lightning bolt. Disarms him, telekinetically snatches it Darth Vader style. Then we find out later that the stakes for this death are totally removed. But I'm like, this is just an awesome kill
Yeah.
at the time. Just makes this random corpse that's hanging out give Lord Helmet a huge hug and then just jump into a bottomless hole.
Yep.
You're
You're
like-
just gone.
That's great.
Corpse doesn't give a crap. It's already dead.
All right. So now Lily goes running away from that, and she finds Brown Tom starting to, trying to warn him of the danger. Brown Tom's like, you bitch, this is all your fault. I hate you and everything you stand for. Get the fuck out of here.
She's like, please, try to
I'll
understand.
cut you with my elderberry wine bottle.
Also,
Wait.
I'm freezing to death.
Yeah.
More importantly, she's like, "Okay, you can hate me, but goblins, fuck."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, good girl for coming and telling me. I forgive you."
Then the goblins show up with their bow and arrow guns and start shooting arrows. And like, Brown Tom, he's got like a pan and he's blocking them, but they're making like pew, pew, pew. Like, I'm like, did the wrong Foley guy show up?
Wrong, everything showed up.
Yeah.
Because he's dodging them like the fucking Matrix till one just nails him in the head. He's like, "Oh, I'm out."
Headshot.
Done.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, fuck, that's really dark. They just
Never bought it for a second.
straight up blasted him right in his forehead.
I
I know
mostly
how that-
didn't
I thought it was
either.
real.
I remember being a 10-year-old. Like it was like, "Oh no, they got him."
I'm not
Sure.
faulting anybody at 10 to be thinking
Yeah.
that happened.
But
No,
yeah,
no,
no,
I
like
just mean now.
they set up the wine bottle was there, so I figured that was. But like, why'd he go down then? I still don't
Yeah.
understand
because he's
that.
a dumb pixie, and
No,
Then
because he's like,
fuck him.
okay, I'm out of this fight. Bye.
Then fuck him. Either way, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm awesome. I can defend this thing that needs to be defended, or our world dies.
All the elderberry wand poured into his face. And he was
But
like,
yeah, they hit my hat.
he
so
thought
it's
he
down.
was dead.
Let's go. Let's
So
get a
therefore
good.
he
Let's get a good
was.
clip.
He's
Tony,
stupid.
say "fuck you, Brown Tom." Bad.
No,
Say it as angrily as you can.
I know better. I'm not
So-
sure how you're gonna use it, but I know it's not gonna be good.
the goblins are like, check out this screen transition. They get out a net on either end of the screen, and it goes over the unicorn and Lily, and they're like, "You're the ladies here, captured, dunzo."
Why?
Cowers in fear. Doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, they
She's
want to.
also still freezing to death.
Yeah. Because, it's more convenient for everyone later on that unicorn not be immediately killed.
Yeah. And the girl just cuz, I guess. Sure. All right.
Also, that unicorn, maybe they gave it like a sedative or something, but like, that unicorn's just going to run with two goblins attached to it on a net. Like, that's not going
They
to.
also kicked the shit out of
Yeah.
those goblins.
It's like those goblins are going for a ride. All right, so now Jack emerges
Well,
from.
that unicorn's having some dark thoughts now.
Yeah. That unicorn emerges from. I'm not the unicorn. Jack emerges from the loot cave. And like, you forget something? Where are your pants? He's like, I don't need them.
What are
I burst through them.
Pants.
Yes, our pants.
You know how your legs are fucking cold in the blizzard right now?
Oh no, they're not.
I am a creature of the forest.
Yeah, Jack's like, I lost feeling in those a while ago.
All the blood of my body is pooled in one spot.
So, yeah, we find out Brown Tom, of course, was saved by his head wine. And so he rejoins the party. And I'm like, movie, can you have some stakes? I know they killed the unicorn, but, like, can we kill someone else? But, yeah, they find the great tree where darkness hangs out. And it's where the wicked come to sacrifice. The great tree looks pretty damn cool. But it is, I'm like, that doesn't look like an evil lair, but it looks cool. Jack is just like, I don't need this torch anymore. Woo! Right over the shoulder.
It's so that he doesn't give away their position.
Sure. Just, I mean, I know it's a blizzard, but that's a little lackadaisical to toss the torch into the forest.
He's a person of the forest. He knows that fire doesn't actually set trees on fire.
Well,
that's what happened in the set.
Is, like, you didn't see his pal Smokey was there behind him. And he was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
take care of
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Oh no, because Smokey would have pounced on him and ripped his throat
No,
out.
he caught the torch. Smokey caught the torch.
Still,
He threw it back to Smokey. It was a planned thing.
It was planned.
He planned it. He caught it with a special glove. He put it on the ground, doused it, stirred it, and then doused again.
So,
And then shat on top of it because he's a bear. After all is said and done.
That was the bear from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it was Smokey.
Yeah.
so I don't like to be like, back in my day,
Joe?
we didn't
Something
have
about Brown Tom?
we didn't have this kind of stuff. Our movies didn't pull punches or whatnot. But like seriously, like kids, they don't make kids movies like this anymore. Because like
I don't make movies like
they're
this anymore.
they're walking through a swamp and this fucking water hag comes out of nowhere. It's just like, "Rah!
I think,
I'm gonna rip
I think
your
it
head
sounds
off."
she was strong, independent.
Yeah, she was badass.
I think that fits.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
Make
like
that today.
growing up with shit like this made us tough, made us who we are.
Drank Bailey's
Fucking-
out of his shoes.
not these
Yeah.
pansy kids these
Scared of the
days.
Fireys and Labyrinth.
Yeah.
But now she
Those
wouldn't-
shits dismembered each other.
But
Nowadays,
You
she
wouldn't have
wouldn't be
that
a
kid
big
today
scary
either.
monster played by Robert Picardo.
But
she
no,
would
she
be played by
doesn't-
Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Well, or played, but she
Or
still played
Lizzo,
by a
or-
man.
Unlike the Fireys and Labyrinth, which bothered you,
Mm-hmm.
like this one actually, when I was a kid, Meg, that's the swamp hag. She did fucking scare
Oh,
me.
rightly so. This is terrifying.
I totally get that.
Yeah, like if I were a kid, I'd fail my sanity roll right there. So she's like, "I'm gonna eat you," and he's like, "Well, I noticed that my shield's real shiny, and you like to look at yourself in it, so I'm gonna just keep talking sweet stuff to you while I draw my sword and drop
pillow
it
talk,
in the
baby."
water." Yeah. And she's like, "Well, I'm still going to eat you, but I do want to, keep listening to the sweet nothings
if
you're
I-
telling me."
Give me some sugar.
Not if I eat you first.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like, "Stand by while I
Smells
get
like
my
fish.
sword out."
Yeah.
And he fucking decapitates her.
Yep.
And then she's still like writhing around and thrashing about with no head. And you like this whole scene is just gross. I mean, watching it now, I loved it, but like I couldn't imagine as a child seeing this and just ooh.
That was
All right, so now back in what's it?
I don't quite remember how old I was the first time I saw this, but I have a feeling I probably saw Aliens in the Thing beforehand, so it didn't have the same impact.
Also, his friends fucked off. They're like, there was no help for this guy. They were all just like, "Ah, shit, he's dead. I
They
guess
were-
we'll go find another champion."
they were watching from a safe distance.
yeah. Like
That's pretty much what they did the entire time.
Yeah.
is They were
Yes.
just like, let Jack do the
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, he is the hero.
Yeah. He's
oh.
also the only effective one.
Sorry, there was like a fog wall. We couldn't get through it. I don't know what happened. We just had to watch.
But yeah, it is funny because it is just like, why are you guys here? Like, you don't do anything.
To look like
Supervision.
Anthony Hopkins and make me up.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Gump is good with a bow.
yeah. Imagine if she staggered on the
objections
gump
first.
though. She would just be like, I'll just go back in the mud."
She'd be like, "Is that your real
I'm gonna
face?"
throw this one back.
yeah.
Oh, I was thinking more just like I'm going to eat you now. Oh, wait. Oh, they're arresting me. They're arresting me. Oh. Chris Hansen comes out like, "What are you gonna do to this child?"
Yeah, have a seat.
Gump's like, I'm 4,000 years old.
What's with the cookies and the condoms?
And Zima. Zoe Zima.
Wow, did you fill this Capri Sun with chloroform?
Jesus.
I will say one thing with Aliens and The Thing, though, that they have that this movie doesn't have is good editing.
Oh well.
So, because you have to remember in this movie too, everything is exploding out of somewhere in like it's just fucking there, like it's jarring as hell.
Just to clarify, I was in no way putting this on the same level as Aliens and The Thing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, as far as creep factor, by the
Yeah.
time I watched this, it wasn't as scary to me.
This was already on a
I'd
lower
seen
rank, and you
worse,
had seen
yeah.
the worst
Yeah,
ones
well,
anyway.
but I mean, like to me, this is more scary because it is just like the thing in Aliens,
see what you're
and
saying.
you know, you see them do their thing, come out, be scary. This one, it's just like it's in your face, like
That's true.
the transitions are non-existent.
That was definitely a jump scare with.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, okay, but what if this had Wilford Brimley in it?
What if,
What role?
He's playing the fairy. He's got the.
is he
fairy
wearing
dress on.
pants?
No, he's got the little fairy skirt on and the wings.
I would never be able to sleep again.
Yeah. Nope.
Just the same lines and everything, but
I
he's
I
the-
understand.
No,
He's the character.
if that came out as abruptly as anything comes out in this movie, I'd turn the TV off.
yeah,
be like,
it plays out exactly.
You
the
guys
same way.
would receive my resignation letter
He's a little
via text
He's
message.
a little light bulb the whole time until he's a real girl.
If we watched that light bulb go down that hallway and then just flicker into Wilford Brimley in that tiny dress with the fairy wings,
Yeah.
I would shit my entire organs and just die.
I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah,
strong.
it just be like I can't watch movies anymore.
Yeah.
Just
You
the
shapeshift.
Yeah.
the sheer
Into a
possibility
That does not make
that
it
can
better.
happen now means I can't watch movies
You
anymore.
can turn into a pretty lady and kiss you.
Not making it better.
That
Not
that
making it
would
better.
be pretty funny though if like Una after she gets rejected, she's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm Wilford Brimley now. Now you got to look at that.
Got diabetes. What about it?
So anyway,
Okay, that is the diabetes guy.
See how I turned into Wilford Brimley, but my dress didn't grow to accommodate the additional
I'm
size.
saying it's the same size dress.
Yeah. No, thank you.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, it basically just looks like a greenish back brace at that point.
God damn it.
All right, the party is now inside the giant tree, and they find a giant trumpet, and Brown Tom's like, "Oh, look, a rope! I'm gonna pull on it," and it's an obligatory 80s slide. Still, good time, not complaining. I like a good obligatory 80s slide. And they slide down into the basement, which is where the food is made.
You're either going to find your way to darkness or find your way to One-Eyed Willie's treasure.
Yeah.
Either way.
They're gonna
In the
find
darkness.
One-Eyed Willie.
And we're down in these cells, and Balzac, the Jaws of Death, turns out he was put down here by that hole that the thing jumped in. And I'm like, why couldn't that guy have just died?
Because
But-
he just never kills on sight. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
So he takes the helmet off, and it's Screwball's younger brother, whose name I never caught.
Wrench ball.
Wrench Ball.
Cool spot.
Cool spot.
Chicken hand Luke.
I like to call him Not Deep Roy.
Not Deep Roy. Right. And the movie's
Shallow
like,
Roy?
hey, that water hag freak you out? How about Chef Ogre? And he's like, I'm coming to make you into meat, while his buddy is like chopping a dude on the table who's flinching every time he's chopped. And just to make this even worse,
His name was Blunder.
Blunder, yeah. To make it even worse, he just fires everywhere he goes, and he's just like, "Brrr," and it's scary as fuck.
Yeah, it just suddenly becomes Silent Hill for a moment.
Yeah.
To the point where the chef, for lack of a better word, I honestly thought might be Pyramid Head for a bit there.
Yeah.
It just, he looked like he had a pointed head and he had a cleaver.
I might chop
One of
you.
those was
I
true.
might fuck you. You don't know.
I think both of those were technically true. It just wasn't a pyramid.
All right, so he what you call it? Like he goes and he grabs he grabs Cool Spot. And I'm like, all right, that was kind of pointless to have him live just to kill him now. But he gets dragged off down the hall. And then Una, she shows up. Well, Jack's like, Una can turn into a person, get the keys, and bring him over here.
I know he promised I wouldn't tell, but fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
telling.
Una's like, where'd you learn to keep a secret, you pantsless piece of shit? So, yeah, she turns into her human form. And she's like, I'll do it, but you have to kiss me. And he's like, I can't. And she's like, I'll turn into Lily. And he's just like, I can't do it. And he just fucking just...
She's like, you flaccid fuck.
She like gives her like a peck on the cheek. She's like, you call that a kiss?
You don't have to penetrate it. Just
Yeah.
kiss the literal girl.
Hell, even if you have to tell that to Lily later, just be like, this crazy fairy person extorted us for sex.
I had to kiss a fairy to save you.
Yeah.
I don't know how old she was. She could have
Yeah.
been anything.
I mean, if I didn't do it, you'd still be hanging out with Tim Curry right
I
now.
had to fuck her, all right? I had to.
Still be hanging out with that tall, dark, handsome.
Horny man.
No, but you gotta remember, this is a fantasy, so chances are if he had kissed her, like, later on, he wouldn't be able to kiss, what's her name, to wake her up.
His purity is an
Yeah.
important commodity.
Exactly.
So Una just gets the keys anyway. And then they leave. They leave Cool
Closes
Spot
the door
to
on
die.
him, though.
Yeah. So then they decide to split up. So Brown Tom and Screwball are on one side, and Gump and Jack are on the other. And they're like, we need to synchronize. And they both pull out God knows what. It's, one looks like a watch, but it's not a watch. The other's just an orb with like some bubbles and who knows what else is going in there.
See, in their heads, they're actually singing a song at the same time so that they can keep time.
Yeah, and they're like, we'll meet up in 500 like wing flaps of an unladen sparrow or something.
It's a shame nothing comes of it because they totally like, all right, we're going to split up. So we're going to go team plot armor, team red shirts.
Yeah.
You guys go that way.
Good luck.
Like, yeah. Best of luck to you.
Go distract them for us.
Their timekeeping device is a snow globe.
Yeah,
right,
it's a cool little detail. Sure. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Darkness is just like, he's two green eyes on a slimy chair, and he's talking to his father about his boner. Because he's like, I really want to kill this unicorn, but I'm kind of obsessed with this woman that's in my lair. I really wish Blix just killed her when he saw her, because now,
Yeah, no, wait.
Dad, I really want to do what you want me to do, but I gotta
wanna
fuck
do
her
her.
first. Dad's like, no, you have to fuck. That's the only way you're gonna get over this.
So the green eyes, is that Darkness or the father?
Yes.
Maybe
Did he have blue eyes at one point?
So,
was I hallucinating that?
he could have.
It's
So-
probably drugs.
so the Lord of Darkness is Jim Carrey. Darkness is the Green Eyes.
He meant Tim Curry.
No.
Tim Curry.
I'm
No, his father.
Jim Carrey. No, go
His
on.
father is Darkness.
His father is the void.
Oh.
Is the void when he
Okay.
turns around and makes his butt talk?
And-
Is that?
Darkness.
That's the portal.
It's the portal to the void.
Darkness is imprisoning me.
That's Goatsy.
All that I could see.
It's absolute horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Little
dad's
blue
like,
waffle again.
you know what? I can wait on this, Darkness Forever thing. You have to fuck her. Go woo her, tempt her, make her dark as
been-
well.
It's been, 7 millennia? Like,
Yeah,
you
you-
really need to...
I give her consent, son.
Yeah.
You need to stop banging Blix. I don't know. I don't know what's going on between the two of you, but like, it's
That's
not
how
okay.
big people get made, son, and that's not good. So, meanwhile,
That's why the guy has a chicken hand.
yeah,
He's giving darkness.
So,
That's why the cook is named Blunder.
just the peen comes out the mirror. And he has to with the chicken hand. This is terrible.
Oh dear God!
All right.
I want you to stay out of the royal glory hole, son.
So,
Half of the mushrooms in the valley are your children, technically.
You've seen all those mutants out there. Anyway,
So, all right. So their whole evil plan's on hold while he tempts Lily.
Well, he's got to clear the pipes.
So meanwhile, Lily is just running around through this very beautiful room full of blue pillars. And Una's kind of chasing her, but not like, hey, Lily, stop whatever you're doing.
yeah, what the hell was any of
Well,
this?
She's chasing her kind of like, I'm required to do this, but I kind of hope she dies.
Yeah, it's like
Is that what was happening?
it's one of those like David Bowie labyrinth rooms where like you can't talk, you have to just kind of wistfully like frolic through it.
Your eyes can be so cruel.
Yeah.
I thought we were about to start watching the Total Eclipse of the Heart video or something.
I love the literal version of that video where like there's that one point where like the greasers are coming down the stairs. It's like Arthur Fonzarelli has an army of clones. but anyway, so
Never mind. Later.
yeah. So Lily she gets into this other room. The door's closed behind her, so Una can't get to her. Una doesn't think to just yell or knock or anything.
Or turn into a tiny ball of
Yeah.
light and just float through whatever.
So Lily finds a fireplace and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll warm up here." And then, like, Tim Curry's like, "What do princesses like? Shiny objects." And this table of like it's got all of the like all the silver and gold jewelry and whatnot. And she sees that and she's like, "Holy fuck, I do love shiny objects." Then there's this creepy like statue that I'm like, did that thing just move?
Yeah, that's not okay. Like that shit,
That
and it
freaked
had
Rob
no
out
other.
hard.
Yeah.
I was done.
It was super subtle at first.
Yep.
And yet, we kind of glanced over Rob saying this, but the most important part, it never comes back.
No.
It's just one scene and it's done.
It's just a fucking creepy thing hanging
Yeah.
out in the
Just
room.
fuck.
And if you're, it's ooh,
So then
ooh.
she's like, "Oh, I really love this necklace. It's got like all the sparklies and the shinies on it. I'm gonna put this on. Oh, but I really shouldn't." So she puts it down, but it's like, "Surprise, woman with no face in a crazy dress dancing with you." And she's like, "All right, well, I guess I'll dance with this random star-faced woman."
Yeah.
And we'll dance around the room.
And we, the viewers, are like, yeah, okay, I guess we're gonna watch this shit for 3 minutes.
Yep.
But I do like when it like, you know, zooms in on her face and pulls away, and suddenly she's wearing the dress. And it's like, all right, he's working his way in there.
Yeah,
you know,
I get it, but
I thought it was a cool
Oh,
scene.
yeah, I'll save it for final thoughts.
Then Tim Curry's like, check this out, and these like the hands, and then the cloven hooves and the horns.
First thing through was his
Yeah.
dong.
Yes. And fucking, he's just like, "I am the greatest thing ever." And like this makeup job is fucking fantastic. And the prosthetics. Yeah. John has found a rather unfortunate
Wow,
face
yeah.
that
he
darkness
makes a couple
is
of
making.
these. Like when he first
Oh,
comes through
no.
the mirror, it's pretty.
When he
bad.
first comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to check out when he first goes through the mirror again, because I noticed later on, especially more actiony scenes, they clearly just have like a standard stock still face with his mouth open, because that's probably where the person's side is looking out. But so it might have just been that.
So all right, unrelated question. What if Mickey Rooney was one
Brown
of the
Tom or something?
Brown Tom or something,
Yeah.
but he did like his old Chinese racist.
All right. So, also one of the things I read is, about the makeup with this. Originally, they had like, well, they all the whole time they had like this whole headset gear piece for Tim Curry to wear, but it was super heavy because the horns still go outward.
Yeah.
So even though it was like, designed to kind of like put more weight on the rest of his shoulders and everything, like it was still like tipping him forward and causing all kinds of back problems and stuff. They eventually made it out of like a I forgot what kind of material, but different materials, so it could be hollow, so it wouldn't weigh quite as much and stuff. Yeah. Which, that is one of the few times where I'm like, honestly, good for now, or like the mix, I would say, actually, of special effects versus practical effects. Because, having him in the makeup, best idea you could have had, because nothing's going to look as good as that. But the horns probably could have been CGI, and it would have been better for everybody.
So I saw the little bit of looking around on the internet that I did. The picture in the lower right corner, it's actually on John's phone. Grace Jones was visiting Tim Curry very often because she was in the studio over or soundstage over filming James Bond movie she was in at the time. And there's a picture of Grace Jones sitting on his lap in the makeup. And I'm like, you couldn't have just brushed her gray and had her be a creepy statue or a goblin or something and just have her run out for one scene just across the background or something. You got to get her in there somehow.
Maybe she was the one in the dress.
She could have been the one in the dress, maybe.
Who knows?
I don't know. Just when you got an opportunity, you're doing creepy things and you got a Grace Jones, you got to use the Grace Jones. So, all right. He's like, look at me. You want to fuck me? And she's like, no. And he's like, first thing I'm going to do, tell you my weakness.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Sunlight destroys me. So Jack, meanwhile, he's been peeking through the door, and he's like, "Is he gonna fuck her? I
Did
gotta
he already
do that."
fuck her?
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, all right. Well, so there's this movie that hasn't come out yet called The Mummy, but I saw this thing where they move mirrors around and it lights up a whole room using sunlight. So let's go get everything shiny in this castle."
He remembered Lily's locket.
Yeah,
reflecting
her
the
wisdom.
sunlight and his face.
Lily's locket, the mummy, same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he folds his cock back into his pants and gets on to plan B.
Now, Rob.
He has no pants.
Gump
Got you
folds
there.
his cock back into his
Until
non-existent
into
pants.
into the leaves that cover
Yeah.
his nether regions.
Into his
John,
belt.
what were you and I arguing about during this? I don't remember. We had a disagreement on something, but I can't remember what.
Rob no longer wished to watch.
No. I don't remember exactly what it was about. Dang. All right. Well,
So
Yeah, I don't remember arguing.
basically, Lily has to just
Argument
stall
might have
for
been
a while.
Strong word.
yeah.
And Jack is going to go and he's going to get everything shiny in the castle, and he's going to redirect sunlight up to this room, and he's gonna take care of the darkness that way.
I mean, that's what they told each other. In reality, they just fucking stole everything shiny. And left.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
just for what it's worth, I believe it was around here you started discussing, what's this, Fiddle Kid? Jeez, I can't remember. his
Gump.
name. Gump. Versus Macaulay Culkin.
Oh,
Home Alone
yeah,
2.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, which one's worse? Having to watch this whole movie with the kid
Which
that's
is far worse.
Gump
Far worse.
naked, or the couple minutes we get of Macaulay Culkin in just his swim trunks in Home Alone 2, looking like a plucked goose.
it's amazing the little bit of difference that those couple inches of swim trunks make.
Yeah.
You don't really appreciate them till they're gone.
Those were substantial.
Well,
chunks.
but they were gone at some point.
Well, they fell
Well,
off in the pool. But you
yeah.
didn't see anything.
Yes.
Macaulay, he was shirtless for not even like a Michael Jackson half chub. Okay, so this was the whole film.
It took a little.
Is
while
that the
for
unit
to,
that you and Gump synchronized to?
Yeah,
It'll be 5 Michael Jackson half chubs.
amount of time it takes for someone to
For
get
Michael
Michael
Jackson
Jackson
to get a half chub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not an insubstantial amount of time.
It is a standard unit of measure, though.
Yeah, mostly in Europe.
Well, was.
It still is. There's still holdouts.
Yeah, it's still used in parts of the world. All right, so now they go back down to the kitchen to steal all the gigantic plates that are here, and they don't want to wake the ogre up. So they're like, rather than
frisbee the fuck
carry these fucking things so that we don't drop them, we're gonna throw them like frisbees.
and they all sound like
Yeah.
Or rather than brutally murder this ogre in his sleep.
Yep.
They're heroes. They can't do that, Rob. That's murder.
Also, the Buckethead guy.
I hate to break it to
I
you,
think
but
that's what we were arguing about.
defense or not, dumping hot oil on top of him so he burns to death is
Well, that
murder.
was
too.
self-defense.
Yeah.
That happened during, in defense.
The soup was too hot.
Oh, I get that.
All right, so
That was his own fault. He made the soup too hot.
That's right.
this
He got nobody he can sue but himself.
this fucking pointless character, Balzac Buckethead Cool Spot, is still alive inside a fucking pie. Like, okay, they're gonna cook him alive, I guess, but just he doesn't need to be in the
With
movie.
a bunch of pigeons.
Yeah, he could have just had a nice off-screen death. We didn't need to see him here. Yeah, they just threw him and a bunch of vegetables and birds into a pie. So they get him out. They're throwing plates around, and then the kitchen ogre blunder here wakes up, and Jack handles his own here. He kind of kicks the shit out of this guy for a while. He's agile as fuck. He's rolling around, jumping on stuff, doing all these kind of cool moves. It's actually a fairly impressive fight, except you can't see half of it, especially when soup's on. The soup gets poured. Everyone like jumps on top of something except for the ogres, and I guess it's so hot that it cooks them, and the whole room fills up with steam. And you're like, all right,
Been there.
that was an ending. So now, because the fire's out, because the soup put that out, they see that sunlight's coming in through the chimney. And they're like, oh, we got our light source. And Screwball's like, I'm small enough to climb up. I promise I won't fuck this up
Yes, you will.
till I
He
get up
does.
there.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, he does.
Billy Barty
Yep.
gets to crawl up a rope, which he hasn't previously pissed up.
And fucking, like, as he's crawling up a pissed up rope.
No, he hasn't pissed up
he
the
hasn't-
rope yet,
yeah.
which is why I was disappointed.
He also hasn't used a grappling hook contraption to grab some bucket of
That's
chicken.
true, yeah.
I'm just tired of Billy Barty. Maybe this is a hot take, but you know what? Fuck that dead midget.
Rob, just because he lost at pick the finger and didn't get to be a
You
wizard.
didn't get to be a wizard, Harry.
Oh, I'm a wizard.
Not a Billy Barty
No,
sanctioned
not,
one.
not in the good.
You didn't get those acorns that turn people into statues.
No,
So anyway,
I get the rocks that turn people into piles.
they turn people into
I
concussed.
just hit people with rocks. That's what I'm trying to say.
And call yourself a wizard.
That's right.
You were that kid.
I cast rock. All right. So now the darkness is talking to Lily about love. And like, Tim Curry, he's looking sexy as shit, but he's not doing the best of like, he's like, I just want to talk to you and hear about your desires. Just sit in my chair. Ignore the fact that it's pulsating and covering itself in pus in anticipation of your butt's arrival on its
I
seat.
have a detachable penis
Yeah.
that I hid in I hid in the cushion.
May or may not have stashed in that chair.
He's just being a real geek about the whole thing.
Yeah, and he's
Do you
like-
know what a bad dragon is? Don't worry about it. Just sit down. Just sit down. Just sit down.
yeah, and she's like, all right, I think I might. This chair is fucking gross.
Google it, Rob. Google it.
So
Now I want you to tell me.
she's
and
just
the
like,
listeners.
no, I think I'll stand. And he's just like, fuck, and like starts throwing shit off the table and freaking out. And it's like,
The
dude,
first time he's like, or stand. I'm fine with you standing.
Yeah.
Totally don't mind that outburst.
Yeah, you could sit or stand. I don't really care. I'll stand then. Well, fuck you!
it's like,
Dude,
I know empathy is not your thing, but just try to maybe consider her perspective just a little bit.
Or
No.
Be like, I will get you a towel.
yeah, you don't even have to like try and understand her perspective. Just like play it cool. Like
Yeah.
you want her to sit down. Stop freaking the fuck out.
What the hell, bitch? It's lube. It's for you.
So
It's to help you out.
Oh boy.
So finally, she's like, "All right, check this out. I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll do, I'll sit in whatever goopy chairs you have. But
Hey,
I
I'm
want
talking to you.
Yeah, I want to kill the unicorn." And he's just Darkness's face is like, "I orgasmed right here."
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
That was that picture I showed you
Yeah,
a
he's-
few minutes ago.
Oh, the thought that he has corrupted her is just like this is amazing.
It's the same
Which-
face I make anytime my wife says like pre 8 o'clock. I think I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
It always ends in disappointment, but I still, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
So, all right, now we go to the sacrificial chamber, and we're getting the mirrors ready. But
That's what I call a turlet.
yeah, Darkness closes the doors to the sacrificial chamber. So I'm like, oh, Light's not going to be able to get through closed doors. How are they going to solve this problem?
Fuck you. That's how.
Yeah, exactly.
The answer
So-
is they're not.
So now they they get up on like a balcony, like Gump and Jack are up there, and they got their bows. And Gump's just like, just fucking kill Lily.
Yeah.
You can't trust her. And he's like, I trust Lily. And like Darkness says a bunch of crap about, it's time for darkness to spread around the world and blah, blah, blah. Everyone's going to admire my dick. But they won't be able to see it because there will be no light. Also behind me apparently is space.
They'll feel it.
Yeah, there's
And
just,
just remember, light is what kills me. That's right. Sunlight is my weakness.
and
In case anyone's listening.
I have acid for blood.
I should have killed this unicorn a while ago, but I was too busy dealing with my boner, which is going to explode immediately when Lily stabs the unicorn with this unicorn horn. So I'm going to give it to her, and Lily's like, "Oh no!" and cuts the chains with the unicorn horn, and the unicorn just runs away. And all the goblins that are there freaking out trying to catch the unicorn. So.
And Lily catches these hands.
Oh, his explosive temper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Darkness.
He's like,
Chris Brown's the fuck out of this girl.
blue ball me. He hits her with a slap spell. Like she is out of the plot.
It's called
Like
the Sean Connery.
yeah, like True Love's first kiss is the only thing that's gonna bring her out of that pimp slap he gave her.
He just taught her English.
Yeah,
Fucking thing, there's so much that happens in like the span of 2 seconds
Yep.
here because she, you can very clearly see she uses the sword, she cuts the chain, okay, but then like he gets shot by both arrows. I guess it's hard to tell.
there are arrows going through him.
Yeah.
You never see him hit
Wall-
him.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise shoots him. And
While
the Gump
he's
shoots
slapping
him.
her in the, slapping her ass down. I don't even know where she goes or where she lands.
She doesn't either.
And it
She's
looks
out
like
of the scene.
It looks like the unicorn ran straight into the fire pit. I was
Yeah.
just like, wait, what the fuck is just happening?
He slapped her into the dressing
Yeah,
room.
she
Yeah.
clipped through a wall and just went.
Yeah, it seemed like
She's
it.
on a different level at this point.
Yep. So Tom Cruise is like, I'm a hero. I could swing on things like a hero and come in with a drop kick.
I've unlocked that
Yeah.
talent.
Darkness is like, the fuck you have. Flips him with the horns, like throws his ass against the wall, starts
wish
beating his
I
ass.
wish the Raptor did that in Lost World.
So, now it turns into a pretty cool fight where Darkness has the strength, Jack has the agility. Darkness keeps getting like arrowed by Gump, but he doesn't give a shit. And like the prosthetics and whatnot for Darkness move around pretty amazingly.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Like I thought that was way more movement out of the costume than I expected it
Oh
to
yeah,
do.
I
Yeah.
totally remembered him sitting down for most of
Yeah.
it, but I don't think he sits once.
No, he is running around swinging swords and whatnot.
Yeah, this is where if you're watching more closely, you can see, especially during like the sword fight, it's just like a mannequin mask where it's like you
Yep.
clearly had like a mesh mouth. Someone was looking at
But the
him.
thing is, like,
It's still good.
Tom Cruise didn't close his mouth through the whole movie.
Well, yeah, it's
Like,
just
it
fits.
blends right in.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah.
Like I was engaged with the fight.
Yeah.
Also,
It's
I love his use of, you're going to grab that thing that you want. Well, guess what? It's on fire. It's like
Yeah, every sword you try to grab,
on fire.
boom, on fire.
Yep. So finally, he goes to grab the unicorn horn, which, darkness is like on fire, but it falls into some water. So he grabs
Which
it from
is
the
also
water,
on fire.
fucking heaves the unicorn horn into Darkness's chest. Meanwhile, Una has been flying through the whole castle to try to wake Billy Barty the fuck up. Screwball took a nap after climbing the chimney.
He's up there for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
Fucking bastard.
Turn into full size and just kick him in the dick.
Yeah.
Passed out from exhaustion. He's just a little pixie.
Sure.
He's a wee little Billy Barty. He climbed
up
a big chimney.
fucking chimney.
Pissed on a rope.
Hey, life, as we know it, is
Up a
at
rope.
stake. Okay.
So, either way, she is too.
He's pissing the whole time he climbed up.
Could be.
She was too small to pick the thing up herself. Screwball picks it up. Sunlight, when it's reflected through these plates, becomes the fucking Mega Smasher. It blows the doors to the sacrificial chamber off their hinges.
It's filled with resin.
I want to mention that part just because Blunder or whatever there. He's in front of the doors, and you're thinking like, "Oh, this is where he's going to get his redemption. He's going to swing the doors open just in time for the." Nope, just blast through him. I assume he's dead. I don't even know. Was he at the end?
I don't
know.
No, he did appear at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, this fucking like Helios laser blasts through and hits Darkness, and he's like, "No,
Daddy, no."
horn in my chest, and I'm getting hit with the sun laser." But he's like, "There will always be Darkness. I'm part of all of you." And Tom Cruise is like, "Get out the airlock." Cuts his hand off and I know it's the Void, but he's sent into space like a different Ridley Scott movie. Flipping end over end, like, no.
Although he seems to
be
explode into 3 little starlets.
5.
5
Was it
starlets.
5.
Oh,
Like a pentagram.
Well, not really.
I think they all went in one direction.
They went, yeah.
Well, there was 3 to the northeast and then 2 to the southeast. I have no
Either
idea
way.
why they did it that way.
It's the constellation Darkness.
He's like, "Hey, Lily, you
Come on, fuck.
the guys, the evil's dead. The cops are showing up. You can, the layer's about to fall apart. You could wake up now." And they're like, "No, you have to kiss her awake."
That's what I tell my wife all the time.
So he does, and he like
Has not helped.
has to dream about going to catch the ring and dive for that again. And I'm like, to get out of the fucking water and stop playing the orca sounds.
But he had to dream that?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
No,
think.
that was like they got out of there.
Yeah, he had to drag her ass out of there, change her clothes, put her back in the spot where she was sitting, and
clean
so
her
he
up
could
all
jump
nice.
back in after the ring.
Which after,
Maybe?
Once you get all
Yeah,
that done, like, why bother waking her up?
He had to complete her quest to wake her up.
Yep. Then
Yeah, you got to make yourself dinner,
call
but
it.
still.
She's like, "Was it only a dream?" He's like, "I don't know."
Jesus.
They smooch more. She sings for Jack. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go. Can I come back tomorrow?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm gonna run this way." Whoa.
Mr. F.
Yeah, they just fucking run off. And then you see the rest of the cast is just like, "Hey, we're here too. We're waving."
Hey,
Don't
here's the
forget us.
unicorn's about to
We-
run us off the edge
don't
of
worry.
this cliff.
We saw that. It
Should you
was
ever need
awkward.
us.
Yeah.
Should you ever need us?
And yeah, then fade to black as they wave at the camera for a while.
Fade to darkness.
Dark. Yeah.
Oh.
Legend.
Legend to the hidden temple.
Legrand.
Tony. Tell us the legend of legend.
Well,
Is it
I am
great?
Legend of the Hidden Temple. On RottenTomatoes.com, Critics gave this a score of 41%.
Those cricks.
Yep. And audiences gave it a score of 73%. That's their thoughts and opinions. Brad.
You're gonna go to me first.
Jesus.
So,
Yeah, like a Band-Aid.
Oh, this was your first time seeing it, right?
no.
Oh.
I'd seen pieces of this.
Oh, okay.
And this is one of the ones where I had seen pieces of and just didn't really catch on to it. So I channel flipped to something else. It's got an undeniable charm. I don't know why they insist on having so much pollen in the air, but other than that, like, it's gorgeous. But if you pay attention to the plot and the lines, not a lot of it makes sense. But I did realize watching this, it feels more like a fever dream. So if you look at it through that lens, as if you were dreaming, which in fact she says that she felt like she was at the end of the movie, it's got that feel to it. It's this disjointed kind of like very sudden things that come up, and it feels like a dream. So I feel like it's really well made. I just didn't really get into it. I'll give it a B because it's so freaking gorgeous. That's about it.
All right. So that's still a recommend.
It's still a recommend.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay. John.
Yeah, I fully recommend this movie. I loved it as a kid. I still love it. Yeah, the disjointed editing doesn't bother me at all because I also view it kind of like as a giant dream sequence, and what I can't infer on my own is explained at some point. It may not be explained in the moment, but they do give enough explanation somewhere as to what's going on. And the production value is amazing. You know, the fact that, you know, in addition to all of the obvious work that they did with the makeup and everything, just the set work, and the fact that they built a forest on a soundstage when their actual forest burned down, probably because of them, is also phenomenal. And yeah, this is on my list of, like, I would have picked this if I rolled a 20 or possibly would have sponsored this episode. So I'm glad that it just came up. That's all.
Joe.
Mine's going to be pretty short. This movie is a severely min-maxed character that looks gorgeous and put all of its points into looking amazing. And then however many points you have to spend to get a Tim Curry, and then all the points to make him look amazing. And that alone wins. Like, it can't be an F at that point. So, like, it definitely passes, but it's crushingly boring. There are too many people not wearing pants. There should be a warning about Gump. The editing is god awful. But like, it's still, it's a movie I have to recommend everyone sees. Like, you have to see Tim Curry as Darkness. And like, there are just, the sets are just so beautiful.
If anything, watch Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
First, and then this, and then try to put the two together. That's the same person.
Yep. So yeah, it's like a C for me. It's watch it once, but I can't watch this movie multiple times. I can skip to the end, but I can't watch this movie multiple times. So yeah, it's like a C.
Rob.
This movie's weird as hell. It's also very different than I was expecting it to be. I'm gonna recommend it. I did not find it boring like Joe did, but I mean, that could be to outside influences as well as anything else. But I found it just a crazy, insane thing. I'm not gonna talk about Gump because I'm upset still. That should not have happened.
Shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
Should not have happened. Should not have happened.
It makes you feel uncomfortable.
There's no excuse for that.
No, like
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
I need to like cry in the shower for a good 15, 20 minutes.
He's not just gonna be crying.
You know. He was mostly naked.
He's gonna do something else and then cry.
And then cry. So the huge.
Well, he's gonna do them both at the same time. Come on.
Yeah, usually. So I'll recommend it. At least once. Like, see it once. I don't think this is gonna become anybody's like favorite, sword style movie, but it's interesting enough to see one time.
Okay.
Can I amend one thing on my review? When I say boring, I mean I just didn't fucking care. It wasn't. I shouldn't have said boring. I just
different.
didn't give a shit about what was going on to the point that I was bored.
I could barely keep track of what the hell is happening.
Yeah, I would say like you could. It's semantics at that point, but like boring kind of works because yes, the editing is a problem. The story in general is a bit of a mess, to say the least. But the biggest thing is like it needs either a better editor or like probably more importantly a script doctor, because it just goes from like 0 to 1,000 and then back down to 0 again like all the fucking time.
Like every time you look up, it's either Tom Cruise mouth breathing, Tim Curry like as RuPaul, or like just midgets
so
screaming
devilish.
at each other.
Well, I mean, yes, but it's not even
Or
that.
looking up a man's skirt.
Yeah,
It's not
and
even that.
screaming at it.
The problem I have is the catalyst for this movie is all the magic in this world depends on these two unicorns that are the last living unicorns, and if they both die, it will be plunged into darkness forever. That is primarily said in one dropped line, yet we spend like 20 minutes dancing with a dress and loading a blow dart gun. Like, you are not putting your time in the right
Oh no,
spaces.
definitely not.
I mean, that's all I needed to know.
Pacing is awful, but
Yeah, so like it would almost be good for a remake, except you're never gonna get Tim Curry to,
No, they'll fuck it up.
yeah, like that's.
you're gonna get Josh
I mean,
Gad
well,
or
you
something.
There's
Yeah.
no way it's going to look this good.
But yeah,
gonna
that's
be-
the problem. It's
gonna be
you
Lizzo.
can't. You can get a better script
Yep.
potentially, but you'll never get it to look as good as this again.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend remaking it, but it's close.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Lizzo would play Darkness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
God damn it. So yeah, light recommend from me. So overall, it's a recommend from all of us.
It's like take 5
So
full minutes.
we're all recommending Legend.
Gotta
What
wear
do we
Eclipse
have next
glasses.
for the people, Rob?
Who rolled last time?
You did.
Okay.
Joe.
Joe.
Oh, there's we're prepared.
Joe's gonna roll a d20 of fate, which is gonna decide from a list of movies what we're gonna watch next, or if he rolls a 1 or 20.
Goldor. Wonka 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 wonka. Schwa. 12.
Swolf.
Oh.
All right, get ready for more Christopher Reeves.
Son of Jor-El.
That's
Kneel
right.
before Zod.
Superman 2.
Oh.
I guess the question is, which version are we gonna do?
Which version?
Yeah.
Is this the one with the Snyder cut?
No.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Well, I think that should have already been resolved.
What did we watch for the first one?
I wasn't here for that, but if it wasn't the one that's both of them, then
Oh, yeah, okay. So because the Donner cut has Superman 1 in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay. So Superman 2 then.
I forgot there's different versions of it.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. Well, I think
The
that's...
one positive thing of this movie being remade, Gump would be played by John Cena.
Or John Leguizamo. Or
Either-
Anthony Hopkins.
Either way, better than what
I
we
want him
got.
played
He
by
would
Anthony
be
Hopkins.
entirely CGI.
I want it, yeah.
Except for Anthony
It's,
Hopkins' face.
no, he's just de-aged. They just de-age Anthony Hopkins onto a child's body, which is what I think, what I feel like they did in this
it
one.
would be Tom Holland. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, that's better than what
Voiced
we're
by
getting
Chris
with Gump.
Pratt and Pedro Pascal. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. We want to thank you so very much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Special shout out to our patrons. If you're not a patron, hey, you know, there are bigger wastes of money out there. I can't name any off the top of my head, but I know they exist. Gambling habits, bad addictions. Anyway, yeah, paying for bum fights. It's a bigger waste of money. Guys, thank you so much. We love you all. Check out our Discord. It's a fun romp. And we love you all. Bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Good night, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, and if possible, leave a review. If you have questions, comments, or would like to sponsor an episode, email us at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, you can buy a t-shirt, hoodie, and more at Teespring. Or gain access to exclusive content by becoming a patron at patreon.com/4ampodcast. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.